blessing.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I see you have an interesting heading today.
Yeah. Let me tell you, things have been happening, Jimmy, and we're trying to tie things together. In terms of money's being spent, where they're coming from, what is being owed, etc., etc. And we'll get into that in just a little bit, But as you know, so Dennis does a walkabout, and he's gone to a different African country this week. This one you might like. Please. I am recusing myself.
Be warned.
Please I'm recusing.
Because I was not warned in the morning. When this proverb came out.
I am recusing myself completely, and it's all on Assetto. All right.
But you see, thing is, when you travel, you get these proverbs. It is not my mistake. We are in a country that played with Harambee Stars yesterday. Not
Yes,
country.
and congratulations to that
To
fantastic
Harambee Stars,
team.
yeah. So today we're in
Good
that
goal
country.
from, what was his name, Ogam?
Ogam,
Yes.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic goal.
Yeah. So
They're doing very well.
yes,
Congratulations.
early in the
to
morning,
them.
he said the Zambians came, they saw, and they were conquered.
Yes, they were.
Yeah?
They were.
Proper,
They were.
right? But now let's go to that country. So when you talk about Zambia, we talk about a country of about 20 million people. We talk about an economy that is powered by mining, especially copper and cobalt, as well as agriculture, tourism, and energy being key in ensuring that the country continues to move forward. But our proverb today talks about a head and going bold. And a head that consults never goes bold. A
Yeah.
head that consults never goes bold. How would you interpret that?
Okay. I see why Dennis was saying that he was not consulted.
We are targets.
I can see Dennis the Menace. This you chose because you knew I was coming here.
At least I have some hair.
You see?
Are you trying to imply that the Dennis that is by your left side and I that feature in that boldness do not
Mr.
consult? Do not
Tell
consult.
Mr. Zambians.
Yes.
No wonder they
Are you
lost.
saying we don't consult?
The interpretation is never wrong.
I think the inference is that if you consult, you don't strain yourself too much. So you're trying to say that stress and too much self-consultation is the reason why one goes bold.
Your interpretation is never wrong.
Very good proverb.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a strenuous process, isn't it?
Dennis,
Yes, sir.
we are together here.
We are. I took it personal at first, but then,
But Lydia soothed him.
yes.
Good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
So, Jimmy, I mean, over the last couple of months, probably more so than ever, we've seen a display of affluence, and I don't know if it's affluence in the kind that we can say an individual, but we've seen a lot of money moving. This is in the light of Kenya's debt at 11.1 trillion shillings. It's in the light of lack in certain areas, but that we see that this money is being spent, and what we're being told it is empowerment drives, economic development drives, economic development campaigns. And they've taken place in different regions. We've seen it happen in Meru, we've seen it happen in Embu, we've seen it happen in Mombasa, we've seen it happen in Kericho. We've seen it happen at State House, where certain people have been called to essentially come. There have been many things that have been given and things have been promised. We heard the Chief Cabinet Secretary the other day say that, don't worry, these things that were given to you just need to be registered and they'll be given back to you. And if this was happening in a jurisdiction whereby everything else was going along smoothly, I mean, by golly, look at the headlines today, and we can't seem to figure out how we're going to treat the country's sick. And again, in the same headline, university students are going back to school in 2 weeks, and I'm not quite sure how we're going to fund the thing. Does it make sense? Is there this symbiosis whereby things seem to be happening and happening properly, whereby billions has been spent in the last 8 weeks in these empowerment drives, but we don't see the billions where it's needed for some key areas? And so we have to ask the question, where does the money come from? And can we see links between where this money could or could not be coming from and what is owed for Kenya?
That is a wonderful summation of the goings on. But just before I answer you, I have a little trend I have here of remembering the fallen economic freedom fighters of 2024. We're still on 2024. We haven't even reached 2025. And I just want to mention 10 more names. We had reached number 40.
Yeah.
Now, 41, Dennis Juma, died in Embu. Falanteo Nakara, and a Tanzanian, by the way, died at Sunbeam Supermarket. Braxton Omai Mongesa in Homa Bay. Benz Kotonyango, Elias Benson Bithi in Kisumu. John Boydras in Nyeri. Timothy Muchui in Nyahururu. Wycliffe Kane Mwenda in Nairobi. Daniel Kaikai in Bungoma. Timothy Miheso in Kakamega. Charles Owino in Kitengela. Alex Muteti in Kibwezi. Dennis Lubanga in Kibwezi. And Shakil Obianga in Kitengela. Now you can see already here the mix of Kenyans from all areas, including one lady here that died to ensure that we are not pained with more taxes. You must remember that it was a successful revolution. Okay? Now, going back to your question. Please answer one question for me. This empowerment drive, is it in the budget?
No.
No.
Okay.
Well, at least not officially.
Well, you know, the law is very clear. You can only spend money that is been budgeted for. So if empowerment is not a line item in the budget, are those our funds or are they personal funds of people? Have they stated it is our funds? Is it government money?
Well, we've had those, you might say, who have been part and parcel of those empowerment drives. And we've asked these questions. And the answers that we're given is these are personal givings. So you, as Jimmy Wanjigi, you may have 10 friends. You're going to Embu for an empowerment program. You'll ask your 10 friends, and it's indication, I'm going somewhere, so one will give you $1 million, and another 5 million. And the pronouncements, when they're actually doing these drives, is the president has given me 3 million, I'm giving my 1 million. So then the question is, where is this money coming from? And the answers we're given is, we have businesses we are running, we've got friends and networks, we put our heads together, and in the spirit of Harambe, we come up with the funds.
So we are talking about personal donations.
Yes.
All right. So, for some reason, in this very skewed economy, you and I, all of us are living here. Let me ask further questions. Is your economy here, the three of you, better than the last time I was here? And better means this. Are you making ends meet, number one? Number two, do you feel you are having some growth in your economic life? Two questions I'm asking. The three of you here.
Well, to be honest,
Since I was last here.
yes,
So are you making ends meet?
I'll say personally, yes. But what
Are
has
you
changed?
making ends meet the last time I was here?
Yes, but
Okay.
what has changed is then you're forced to do more than 2 or 3 things,
Yes.
so that you are able then to make those ends meet. Yes.
You're having to work more
Yes.
to make ends meet.
Exactly.
All right, so that means you're not growing because you don't have time to grow if you're spending too much time.
Personal growth.
Yes.
Yes.
Economic growth. Are you growing?
No.
Are you advancing?
No.
You're spending more and more time just trying to make ends meet.
Exactly.
All right. But there are others who seem to be growing. These are the ones who are able to donate all these hundreds of millions towards
It
empowerment.
seems.
It seems.
Yes.
All right. Let me put it this way. I doubt that is coming from any businessman. These are slush funds of a government. All right. I think recently you saw a big query from the Auditor General about money coming from e-government, disappearing in some strange companies that have been formed, that do not have PIN numbers. You can't quite find. And normally when you hear those sort of elusive companies, they are NIS. And NIS, maybe those funds are a conduit for a slush fund created by NIS.
For what purpose?
The President's slush fund. Yes. The President's slush fund. And what I'm also hearing about these empowerment groupings, money is brought by one person. I don't want to glorify him by mentioning his name. It's brought by one person. He donates to the people sitting there what they are going to contribute. Like an MP will be given 200,000 and told 100 is for you, 100 you put in the kitty. The people who collect the money are the same people who came with the same transport, either a helicopter or vehicle. So they collect the same money. And by the evening, if you've had a head count, as you were saying, Dennis, of 7 million, that is what is counted. But the same 7 million which is collected goes in the same bag back into a chopper or into a car with the same people saying they're securing it and they go to the next venue.
Jimmy Wanjigi.
So, no, I'm telling you what I'm hearing from the ground.
We're saying that, hang on.
So,
if we're saying this money that finds its
so
way...
we're talking about props. We're talking about showbiz mingi hapa sana.
So the money is not actually going to Kenya?
No, this is a lot of showbiz. And really, I think you have seen the modus operandi of William Samoei Ruto since he came in, and even before. It's just showbiz. It's just showbiz. All right? And please don't buy into this rubbish. In fact, you give it too much attention.
So Jimmy,
this man is a total waste
so
of
Jimmy,
time.
this
It's
money,
showbiz.
so this money, for example, that the president is giving Harambee Stars for every win. Now each player has bagged 5 million as we speak today, correct? 5 million. We're not told where that money is coming from.
Is it in the budget?
Is it the... We've been told that it's coming from the budget.
It's not coming from his pocket. So it's coming from a slush fund somewhere. Yes, it's not in the budget. Did you hear it being passed in the budget?
No.
So how does the president, how
you-
has the president, is it his personal money? So he has got that money? Did he declare it when he got to power that he has that kind of money? Did he declare it? Because you must declare what you have. Did he? Has he accumulated it? We know his salary. So has he accumulated it within this time?
Because
if he has,
look at the numbers, Jimmy.
if he has, then he's a thief.
Right, let's look at the numbers,
it's
Jimmy,
clear.
and see if that's actually possible. Because so what was promised, and we just used the football as an example, that what was promised before the first kickoff was 1 million shillings for a win, 500,000 shillings for a draw, and then as you go on making it into the round of 16. Certain amounts of monies would be promised. So the first million was given out, 42 million shillings on a Monday. And they drew the next match, which was 500,000 shillings each. So
much
came
did that come to?
21 million shillings
So that's 63.
so far. And then
Yesterday they won.
so the day
sorry,
before,
yes.
so the other one they beat Morocco. So there was
yes.
another win.
Yes.
So there was 42 million. And when he showed up on that day, he said, "Niko na mambo yenu hapa," and he said essentially, "So what we're going to do is this: you're going to play Zambia on Sunday, and if you make it to the round of 16, I'm going to add that money by 1.5 million. All right. So essentially, for the win against Zambia, each player was going to get 2.5 million shillings. Right."
What's the cumulative total now?
So 5 million shillings has gone to each player, would essentially have gone to each player after yesterday's win. Plus
And
the
how
technical
big is the
bench,
team?
42. So the number is 42 that we're looking at.
Times 5 million in Pesangapi.
210 million.
Right.
210 million so far. And so what we're looking at now is that for every subsequent win after that, there's still the promise of 1 million bob. And if they beat Madagascar on Friday night, we're looking at another 1 million shillings, another 42 million. But then there's a promise also of a 2-bedroom house, and if they get further along, it's a 3-bedroom house thereafter. So all of these promises are being made by the president. Whether he's going to give this in cash or the actual house, we don't know. But 210 million shillings so far given to the Harambee Stars. Are we saying that it's not plausible that the president has this kind of money from a personal point of view that he would gift the team?
This is the same president who
nationalism.
This is the same president who said he's got 1.2 billion shillings to build a church as a personal donation. I ask you again, was this declared? Because when you're running for public office, you must declare your net worth. I can assure you it was not declared. If he says he has received donations from friends, the law is also very clear about donations. They must be declared, they must be open, and they must be up for scrutiny, because the president can be bought by other parties to influence him against Kenyans. So our law is also very clear. I believe, I'm not saying that I have this for fact, but I believe it is a slush fund, right, that they are using. Before they used to call it confidential expenditure. I think you've seen some accusations about the former DP, or he used his confidential money instead of using it on politics or confidential politics or this or that. He used it on himself. Okay. The situation we have here is that there is some slush fund that seems to have been created, right? Whether it's through an NIS budget, confidential, whether it is through the Ministry of the Office of the President, through Interior, there is a slush fund that the president is using for these so-called ego political trips. And let me put it this way. I want you to appreciate what 1 billion shillings is. All right?
Okay.
1 billion, because the amounts you're talking about to Harambee Stars may get to 1 billion, right? God willing. In fact, we hope they succeed and keep winning. The church was 1.2 billion. 1 billion shillings, Dennis, the menace, to your life is 70,000 shillings. You're a young man. It's 70,000 shillings per day for the next 40 years of your life.
To just blow it up,
70,000
per day for the next 40
years.
2.1 million shillings a month. All right. It's not small change. It's not small change. All right? So if this is money being collected by Kenyans in terms of tax to a government, and it's being spent outside of what has been approved for their lives, all right? It is a criminal offense, and more importantly, it is unjust. Just the way you put it, you have headlines today where people are not having medical care, all right? And they don't get to those amounts. People are not getting care. We have a problem here, and we have a president that is busy doing showbiz. Showbiz, I'm sorry, it is showbiz. We've just gotten the figures on Friday of the accounts of July. All right? We had a tax revenue of 173 billion. Okay? 173 billion. We paid 123 billion in debt.
You got 50 B left.
50.
All right? Now, that is 72% of the tax revenue. All right. We spent 3.8 billion on development. Okay? And we borrowed about 61 billion.
For what?
91 billion on top of that now went for recurrent expenditure. So you can now do your hesabu.
What did we borrow the 61 billion for?
Recurrent expenditure, it seems.
All right, okay.
All right? Now, 1.1% of the total revenue went to development. So as you are talking about all this money being doled out, development is only 1%, just over 1% of last month's budget. Debt was 72%, right? Out of, in fact, Moody's put it very well the other day in their report. They said that out of 3 shillings that Kenyans pay for tax, 1 shilling goes to interest, 1 shilling goes to principal, 1 shilling is left for all our consumables. So we are borrowing like something else. We are living beyond our means. The government is living beyond their means. All right? And every single day, the pain is not stopping. It's not stopping. Please remember, in all this, as you are counting, you're talking about Shah and Chief here. You have 4 million Kenyans. 4 that do not have food every day. It's called 7%, 7.1%, right? Are extremely poor. You have 22 million that are struggling to put food on their table. You have 34 million that have got food, but those health services are not available for them. Education is a problem. A decent, dignified standard of living is a problem. And that is why, and that's, people don't seem to get it. We have 3 major issues in this country today. We have an economic revolution. This is not about anything else. We are all here talking about the pain of money. Are we not? Right. So we have an economic revolution. And if anybody has any doubt, that is what was seen in our faces last year, 2024.
Jimmy, you've talked about some 123 billion that we paid, and out of that, the odious debt that we keep talking about, this is what you're paying for. You look at the economic empowerment that is happening in this country, and rightfully so, it is not budgeted for. You look at where these are being held, the deputy president, one day, 143 million shillings, where it's coming from, cannot be explained. You see the president taking these to the house on the hill, State House, 5,000 people showing up and border borders being given, but they never live with these border borders anyway. Like you say, it is showbiz. And we look at what you're doing to a country where we cannot afford food, we cannot afford healthcare, we cannot afford education. And one asks the question, what are we doing?
All they're doing, Dennis, is very simply running away from the problem. They can't solve it. I've been here many times, ever since 2023. They can't solve this problem. All right? They do not have the revenue to solve our problems. As long as they are paying this debt, they do not have the revenue. So all they can do is showbiz. Keep trying to show you that there is another alternative reality. And that reality is fake. And there are some people we eat in that showbiz. And many of them are vomiting on us. While many are hungry, there are some who are now new people to this thing, like you're hearing broad-based. And some of the people talking there will drive you crazy because they are not talking reality. The reality is here. Okay? They cannot solve our problem, our economic problem. They are glossing over it. They are sweeping the problems under a rug. And the rug blew up last year. Right? It's no longer business as usual. It's no longer the fake thing. Everybody now is in a very different reality. And they're trying to take us back. So don't pay too much mind to the showbiz. William Ruto is perfect at it. He is about that. Showing you a picture that is not accurate. If you can get the Catholic Church to call him a liar, what does that tell you? That this is a government of lies. So why do you give him so much airtime with the showbiz? Why do you do it? Why do you guys do it even in the media? It's the same old thing. Yeah? Let's get back to real issues. Real numbers, real issues here. Because they are very serious. Okay? We are at a very serious time.
Can we really say that a country is on the path towards development? Because, look, unfortunately...
Towards what?
I'll just come back to that in a minute. And I segue from that just a little bit because... And we say, why do we give attention to some of these things? That we can't run away from some of the things that the president has actually said. Most recently, he did say that they're doing everything that they can. They're tightening the screws to make sure that Kenya at least gets on the road to where it's supposed to go.
Oh, come on.
I know. Hang on a minute, Jimmy. So then he went on to say that, he is the best president that Kenya's ever had. He also talked about initiatives that they're putting in place.
Which ones?
Can that be the...
Which ones?
Well, agriculture, he talks about this all the time. He talks about housing. He wants every Kenyan to have, affordable and dignified housing. He talks about the fact maneno ya education hiyo tumesort,
Universal
universal healthcare hiyo tumeshughulikia. He's done that. He's talked about that quite often. Can we resonate or reconcile that with these numbers that we're seeing for July alone of 173 billion shillings, and out of that 123 billion is then
72%.
Is it possible that those two scenarios can marry?
No. And, among the list you've just stressed, you talk about him priding himself about housing. Housing! I'm doing affordable housing. Okay. I don't know what's wrong with us as Kenyans. We don't interrogate properly. Okay, so those houses are built on whose land?
Kenya.
No,
Public
whose land?
It's public land.
Right. So the taxpayers' land.
Yes.
Right. And the buildings are built with whose money?
Taxpayers.
Taxpayer. So Dennis, you contribute, right? Yeah?
Yes.
Housing levy, you contribute.
Yes.
So your money is paying for the building.
Yes.
And the government, who is you and I, right, are coming to sell it back to you and I.
Yes.
So is the government a profit-making entity? Dennis, you look confused. No, that's I really want to ask a simple question. It's like this, eh?
Yeah.
You have land, Dennis.
Yeah.
Okay, your own land. You use your own money to build it, and then you sell it to yourself. Does that make sense?
It doesn't.
So this is what is going on and being touted as a great thing. The government is making profit, right, out of building. So are they a private entity to make money? Are they a company?
One would assume that they're supposed to create an enabling environment for businesses to flourish.
No. If this was in another place in the world where government is building with all our money and selling it back to us, they would have been overthrown yesterday. Do you understand? How does it make sense that public money has been used for anything and then they dare to sell it back to you? Why are they not giving them for free? It's owned by us.
Being taxed for it.
It's owned by us. Is the government and us separate entities?
No.
Are we separate entities?
No, we're not. The pain point is the logic is flawed.
No, when Uhuru was doing it,
Yes.
right? Uhuru was building on public land and getting private investment to build. He was not charging housing levy. So he, during his time, he didn't do very many. I think there were about 400 or so. He could have charged because there was a PPP arrangement. This is totally public money from the land to the building. Why is the government selling? I was here not too long ago and I told you the government is a private company. And Dennis the Menace was not understanding what I'm saying. Do you understand now?
Yes.
Because that is what a private entity does. It's not what government does. So please do. How is that a good deliverable? Yes. That you are charging for public money, right? Somebody, the same public, 1 million for a bed sitter. I mean, it's just, what logic is this? Please tell me. So they are making profits.
And where do the profits go?
No. Since when does government is supposed to make profits?
It shouldn't.
The
Government is
only
not a
place
commercial
they are supposed
entity.
to make profits is so-called in quasi-government corporations. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, where they have an interest. And even that is appropriations in aid when it comes to profit. It's not called profit. Right? So you tell me where government is making, how does it do this? So you're not asking the appropriate questions. The logic is not being questioned. You have parliament that is just numb. How? Please explain to me.
Here's the pain point. So from a pay slip, you're paying for mortgage. You have deductions, among other things, SHA. So in terms of housing, the people are paying for mortgage. There's even a teacher who a couple of days ago who said she's being deducted, she's paying for rent. Her pay slip, which doesn't give her almost nothing, is having all these deductions, and she still has to pay rent, and yet She's building a house for someone somewhere. And like you said, she has to pay to get that house. It's a very flawed logic if you look at the overall thing. My question is this. When they took over power, that is Ruto and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, they admitted that, and I quote, "We have talked to the Treasury and the coffers are empty. We will have to start from scratch." In the run-up to the election, the president, during his campaign speeches, used a phrase signaling a zero-tolerance stance on corruption in government. We're saying Kenya is broke. I tend to argue it's not. If you look at Sunday Standard, 4.1 billion CDF puzzle, there's a picture of all these individuals and how much money is lost from Awendo, 125.9 million, Embakasi South, 91 million, Isiolo South, 73 million, Baringo Central, 61 million, Baringo North, 40 million, Tiati, 65 million, Kilome, 87 million, Kitui East, 86 million. We come to Shah, we look at 33 billion, 32 billion arrears under Shah, 76 million paid by Isiolo Jubilee Insurance out of 120 million contract, and so on. And these are two. We look at the Auditor General's reports almost on a daily basis here when we're doing newspaper review, and it's money in billions getting lost. This is not money I believe is lost. Money has to move from one account to another. So how then do we say Kenya is broke when we have all this siphoning of monies from different spaces?
Dennis, you know what we paid last year to debt? 2 trillion. You know what we're paying this year? Almost 2.3 trillion. 2.286 trillion. Do you know what we're paying next year? Almost 2.5 trillion. What is our revenue? We didn't exceed 2.4 last year.
Yeah.
Nope.
We won't exceed 2.4 this year. We won't exceed 2.4 the next financial year. So please tell me where we have this money. What's happening is that we are borrowing domestically, right, to fuel recurrent expenditure and that theft you're talking about.
So
But
we're
we do not
borrowing
have
to
the
steal.
tax. Yes. We are borrowing, as we have always done. We've been borrowing to steal. The money we are paying in debt today is theft. It was theft long time ago. And we keep borrowing to steal. They do not have it in tax revenue. You understand? So we have to cut it at its source. The problem is too much money is going out to debt.
What's the source?
Odious debt.
Who would?
Fake debt.
Right. We've asked this.
Fake debt. I want you to imagine that without that payment of almost 3 this year, do you think anyone would be complaining about Shah and Shift?
No.
Remember the figures I just gave you earlier
Yes.
of July?
Yes.
County money was not dispersed.
No, it wasn't.
Yes. So you keep defaulting on county money. Did I mention pensions? No. Pensions were not dispersed. And these are all first charge items.
Yes, they are.
They must be removed first. So we do have, Dennis, a problem with money, revenue. Not because we are not collecting enough, but because the expenditure of that revenue is going to a big ticket item called debt. All these others, even if you cumulative take, can you compare to the trillions?
No.
Right. That is the problem. And I want you to understand that this debt is fake. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how many times we need to say it.
As many times as
necessary. Really, Dennis, you need to understand it's fake. And that expenditure continues until 2038. So this is the kind of life you want to keep talking about here? You want us to keep living this life? We're coming here and lamenting.
So, Jimmy,
we've got to reach a stage where we stop, isn't it? We've got to have hope. Correct? We've got to start living in hope. We can't keep lamenting. We've got to start living in hope. And the only way we are going to start living in hope, right, is if we start really addressing the issue and dealing with it. Not talking, actually acting. And acting here is very simple. You cut off that debt and you have a debt payment. You have a very different life for every Kenyan here.
But how different will it be if we still are not dealing with the issue of stealing? Because let's assume this debt that does not even exist in the first place. Revenue is still being collected. How do you seal or close these taps?
Okay.
Because there's still money in circulation.
I'll tell you.
Yes.
So how is this revenue being collected? All right? So we have a budget that is passed every year by Parliament. All right? And it talks about how much tax is to be collected, how much debt is to be taken. So this is where you start sealing it. So the budget, if you look at the budget, right? It said that there's going to be a deficit, a shortage of 4.8%, which they calculated as 993 billion shillings that needed to be borrowed this financial year. I think you've heard that figure over and over. And they said that it's a combination of both domestic debt and external debt. Right. Now, as I said, on Friday, the July estimates came out. Estimates of revenue and expenditure from the Treasury, signed by Mr. John Bundy, CS Treasury. So what does it say there? Domestic borrowing, 1.053 trillion. External borrowing, 589 billion. Are we on the same page?
Yes.
What did Parliament pass? 993, both domestic and
External.
but this, a month later, the budget says 1.023 trillion and 585 billion external. You have already increased it by another 600 billion.
So was that deficit figure
No.
one?
How does the Treasury do that if it was not passed by Parliament?
Yes.
You're asking where they are getting all this money to steal? There you go. It's 1 month. I said this last year, they did the same thing. The year before, they've been doing it since 2013. There you go. That is not what the budget passed. It's right before your eyes. And the minister publishes it, a Gazette notice. It's there.
Jimmy.
So why are you asking where do they get the money to steal? So it starts in Parliament. You just stick to the law. What is passed in the budget is what is to be followed. There's no way the Treasury has another budget. It creates on its own. Right? And when you ask this domestic revenue, Dennis the Menace, before you ask your question, where is domestic debt on the expenditure side of the budget? Remember, the law says you can only borrow for development.
Yes.
You will never find 1 penny of domestic debt going towards development. So why are you looking for it elsewhere? Everything is there. It's all in the debt business. That's where the games are. Nowhere else.
So how do you account for this
What do you have to account for?
when it's out? Wait, when it's outside the purview of Parliament approvals, so Treasury sits and makes those decisions.
It's just 1 month. 1 month. They've broken the law. They're advertising their criminality. But you guys don't question it. We say it all the time. Nobody wants to hear. Or people don't understand. I don't know. Parliamentarians, as you know, they are living their own life. There it is.
So
for you to see.
So you're on a free fall.
Yes.
Jimmy,
It's being done in plain sight.
Jimmy, there has been talk that
It's being done in plain sight.
there has been talk, even as we talk about Treasury and how now the criminality that you talk about. One Okio Mtata says, for Kenya to be able to move forward and deal with the debt that is there, there is need to delink Treasury from the executive.
I disagree. I disagree. First and foremost, we don't need to change any law here. People just need to follow what is the law. The law is very good. The Constitution is fantastic. Right? Chapter 12 covers all our public finance matters. Okay, we don't need to even change a comma. What we have here is impunity for the last almost 13, 14 years, since 2013. That now any regime coming in will probably have things they have got to do the same to survive. Okay? And this is where Kenyans must start saying no. Right? We are going to actually stop this thing. We are going to cut it. And it's very clear this is our slavery. We are going to stop it. So you remove it. as something that we do not owe as Kenyans. Okay? And we start living our life according to the law with the revenue we are collecting. And it is a lot of revenue. 2.4 trillion? 2.3 going to debt this financial year? So I want you to imagine you need 200 for Shah and Shif, 178 actually. You need 200 for all the education, even university.
Yes.
All right. What is that? 20% of that? It's nothing. You can even reduce taxation. You can remove this stupid housing levy business. You can reduce VAT from 16 to 5% sales tax. Imagine what you're doing to the country. You create a stimulus that is unparalleled. Free primary education of Kibaki just took an average of between 6,000 to 10,000 shillings. All right? A term from a parent's pocket. Gave back. Okay? That here you are paying this, is now back to you. Okay? Took in 1 million more kids into primary school, and it paid itself back as a stimulus within 3 years. How, Dennis? How?
So, Jimmy, these are the problems. Let's talk solutions. So, if you said any government that will take over power will try to survive, they will still continue the same thing. Doesn't matter who you put there. And you say Kenyans.
Don't say.
No. I just want you to give me an idea of in terms of solutions, because you said.
Sorry to interrupt.
Then Kenyans, it's fine. That Kenyans then need to stop this. How do Kenyans stop this?
We are already stopping it. Okay, I talked about the economic revolution.
Yes.
Right? That's why we are debating this issue. That's why the economy is a big issue in newsrooms, in everywhere you go. Okay, in people's lives. Before it was politics. The second thing, I said there are 3 things. The second thing is the appending of the legacy politics of Kenya. We have realized it's not about politics as usual. Politics of tribe, politics of kingpins, politics of Sijuinini. And if there's anything we realize out of that, is the union between Raila and Ruto. They've come together, so-called solving an economic revolution of the Gen Z. A year later, there's still revolution. It didn't solve anything. The ground is still the same.
Yep.
People are still feeling the same. Okay? You have the others trying to keep legacy politics, right? Maybe they believe they have fire. I don't. And I'm sure I'm not alone. Okay? So that is also coming to an end, because you have status quo in the current regime with the broad-based government. That is status quo. You have the legacy politicians that are about change without change. How can now the deputies of the 2022 presidential candidates who are on one side come this other side and be the ones who offer change? That isn't there. And then you have what we are now discussing here, like your very good question, Dennis. Right? Ideas. Solving these problems. Okay? This is where people are now conversing. The tent of interests, of ideas, visions, okay? And our collective issues, right? Community and collective issues. That is now where we are. And that is the transition. Now, in that transition, you get new leadership. Okay? So have faith. For example, if we really start saying this is the economic problem, that the country's problem is the economy, right? How do you get a priest to be the one who solves the economic problem? It won't happen. Will a priest solve an economic problem? Right. You look for somebody who can solve the economic problem. Correct? Your understanding of this is that you have something called odious debt, and that slavery must be removed. You're not going to listen to anybody who is not talking about removing that debt. If they are perpetuating or going to perpetuate, all they're telling you is that they will not solve your problem, just like William Ruto.
Okay.
And you say, I don't want that person. I want a leader who is going to remove this pain from me. And it's not just the problem of theft. The theft has been done. Please. It's not new. Don't look at the new theft, Dennis. It is been done. You need to understand it. It has already been done. What you are saying please understand with debt, it is taxed in advance. We are paying for that theft with our contribution of tax every single day. And we shall until 2038. Unless we sit back and say, hey, guys, I'm not paying this goddamn nonsense.
What precludes that from happening? Is there a lack of understanding or comprehension as to how far-reaching this thing is?
That is one. The other is most of these people are involved. Or they've got friends who are involved, associates who are involved, and they cannot delink. William Ruto was part and parcel of it with Uhuru.
So it seems that there needs to be a hard stop for some of these
things.
And far be it from me to say that because of things that happen in certain jurisdictions, they should also happen in Kenya. But my mind is cast to Ghana, where, many years ago, Jerry Rawlings had an understanding that there were certain chiefs in his government who were essentially robbing the country blind.
Yes.
And they had many conversations, and there were many a warning. And so he called for a town hall where certain chiefs in his government were going to be in attendance. And these men were shot.
And I don't Jerry Rawlings, and he took over with the gun.
Yes, and I don't mean shot with words. I mean shot. They were killed.
Yes,
and of course a series of developments took place after that. But that's where you saw that there was a definite shift in terms of the impunity and corruption that used to take place in Ghana at the time.
Yes.
Now, whether went or not they went back, but there was a time then where people said, okay, perhaps it's time to buckle down and actually get some work done and stop this thing that we've seen happening before.
Yes.
So it seems as though sometimes there needs to be a hard stop for some of these things to actually take place. Call it what you want. Call it revolution. Call it, but it seems that we've coddled. We've romanced the idea of doing well. I'd say it's time to hit a home run. Is that where we are?
Absolutely.
Get this thing done.
You see, Peru is another example of this particular aspect. Peru got up once they removed a president called Fujimori. And they said, we are not paying that debt. Okay? And they chased Fujimori until they caught him and they jailed him. Okay? But the key thing is they said they are not paying debt. Today in Peru, they survive without any debt. In fact, if you as an individual get to power and start talking about debt, there will be a revolution outside to remove you. We must reach a stage. And I believe not reach, no. I think we have reached the stage where we say we have got to cut off this pain. All right? Whatever people did, right, they'll carry their own cross. But we are cutting it off from our backs. We are not carrying it anymore. We are cutting it off. And I can tell you, you then have a very different life. Because thereafter, you will have very clear accountability. You will not have Parliament passing a budget and the Treasury thereafter creating its own monster. You will not. So we must look at leadership that is prepared to cut this debt and this pain, that hard stop you're talking about.
And Jimmy, this has to be citizen-led, because what you're hearing right now is we need to sit down, conclave, and that would be to protect themselves and injustice that has been meted on Kenyans. So when you talk about stopping this, it has to be citizen-led, which is, as you say, already is ongoing through the revolution that we see.
Absolutely. And citizen-led, I mean this. This is a direct contract between the people of Kenya and the leadership that is to come. It's not about conclaves, not about tribal groupings. You know, we must start envisaging in this tent of ideas and issues a country, right, which is here, and I believe it is here, where if you're a Mukamba, you'll be elected in Kandara constituency as an MP, right? Dennis here will go to my Madhioya in Muranga and be elected on the basis of his ideas. He probably went to high school there. So he has articulated and understood the problems of the area, maybe more than any local person. That happened here in Kahao in Dani. When you had an MCA, he's the late, I forget his name now.
Monday somewhere.
Yes. Who was elected, right, in what is primarily a Kikuyu ward. Okay, because the man stood up. He was called Gearbox.
Yes.
The man stood up, okay, for the issues of the area. We must now start looking at ourselves as a country that evolves that way. I believe we have. If there's one thing the Gen Z revolution brought about, is to remove those barriers All right? Those wars that were separating us. And have put us together with common issues. This is a common issue, this money issue. The economy of this country is a common issue. So let us not think of any other contract in leadership other than directly with the people, not through little community interests here and separate. That is the old legacy politics. And that, I'm telling you, they don't understand it, those who practice it today. It has come to an end.
It has come to an end.
It has come to an end.
And so has our conversation this morning, Jimmy.
Oh,
thanks for
so
those
quick.
insights. I know. Time flies when having fun, they say. Being able to look into those insights. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Always
Thank
great.
you. Always
Joe
good to be
Njigi
back.
is the leader of Safina Party and has been here with us talking where we're going with an economy and what are you doing essentially. And I have to ask you this morning also as we come to the end, what are you doing with your wealth this morning? How are you making plans for that?
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.